I just saw Randy's comment and you just made me laugh out loud, Randy, about the intro. The intro is interesting, Randy. I ain't gonna lie. The intro is very interesting. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I'm rolling with the punches. Uh, but it is interesting to say the least. Nonetheless, what is going on to everyone there? What's going on, Josh? What's going on to Rodolfo, who was first as always, and you're doing the damn thing. I'm starting to um, I don't. I'm very happy for you, Rodolfo, that you are always first in all our videos. I'm starting to become worried about you though, because I'm starting to think at some point we need to get you on Bumble or Tinder or something like that. I just want to make sure you're getting outside the house. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't want this to be your whole life, Rodolfo. I'm hoping you're doing this while you're out, somewhere with someone. That's it. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want for you. But look, if you're happy being at home and saving some money and avoiding that headache, hell, more power to you. But listen, it is Wednesday night. Party people in the house. And if it's Wednesday night, you know what time it is. It's time for your Drunk Uncle Sports Podcast. I'm your host, your drunk uncle Anwar Richardson, and I'm super excited to be in front of you today because I got an exciting show. Going to be a fun show tonight when we really start to break down and debate the quarterbacks that are going to be battling each other this entire off season. I'm bringing in my man Tom G, bringing in my man El Presidente. I don't want to spoil it too much, but within the next 5 to 10 minutes, we are going to really get hot and heavy into a huge quarterback discussion, aka a huge debate, not manufactured, where you watch some of the shows, you're like, all right, you can't literally believe that LeBron sucks, right? Those kind of shows where like, all right, you guys are just saying this for saying it. But I feel like we're going to have a good conversation about some guys that I really, really want to discuss and really, really going to get into. Cigars and bourbon. I think I told you, I'm a Southern boy. So, I'm from the South. I'm from Florida, Tampa Bay, actually Lakeland, Florida. So some of the drinks I'm going to drink are going to be of the Southern kind. So I don't drink a lot of dark liquor. I don't need to be swinging on nobody on a Wednesday night. So that dark liquor makes it make you angry. You guys ever had the Incredible Hulk back in the day? There's some folks who right now know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the Incredible Hulk, and then other folks probably are like clueless. But that Incredible Hulk used to really, really make you want to swing on somebody. I'm not going to lie. I've gotten to a few fights outside of a club off of that Incredible Hulk. So right now, realize that clear makes him just kind of relax. So I want to stay up too. So I'm on my vodka and my Red Bull because I want to be awake for all my bad decisions. So that's what I'm having tonight. That's in the cup. Salute to all you guys. Hey, before we get too far into the show though, this show is sponsored by my main man, El Presidente, Eric Sells Homes DFW. Guys, look, man, we are almost in March, man. It's getting around that time for you. If you're looking for a home in the DFW area, don't wait until like June or July, the height of summer when school is out and the market's crazy, like everybody's going in. Look now. You start looking at what school you want to put those kids into. It's time to get out of an apartment. It's time to buy a house. You set a goal for 2023. Damn it. Now is the time to start doing it. Stop procrastinating. Go ahead and check that box off and achieve all your goals. And Eric Torres, my main man, look, it got a QR code and everything. He will be the person that will help you get that house. In fact, Eric says he's not even going to charge you a commission. Okay, he didn't say that. But he will be the man that helps you buy a home, sell a home. If you're looking for a home in the DFW area, he will help you out. And by the way, if you're looking for a home outside the area, just a little bit outside, he'll be the person to help you. If there's a lot outside, make it $1 million purchase, and Eric has definitely got you covered. So hit my man up, Eric Sells Homes DFW. That's totally unscripted, by the way. It's totally off script. Eric couldn't pay to have someone say it as smooth as I just did. Eric Sells Homes DFW. That's the guy that you guys should go and get in and for your all your hookups. And like I said, I'm gonna get him in soon. I'm gonna get Tom G in soon. I want to say something. I want to put a ribbon and bow on a conversation that we had on in the modcast yesterday. For those of you who didn't see that the modcast yesterday, for those of you who are watching this video 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, you know what the hell? Who the hell is a drunk unk? First of all, let me just say the drunk unk show. What the hell this whole thing is about, right? I view this thing as a Wednesday night family gathering, all of us coming together, all of us being a part of that family, football family, Longhorn family, however you want to call it. When I start thinking about the family, I start thinking about all our roles within the family. And I start thinking of what would I be within that? And you have different kinds of folks. You got the different uncles who, conservative uncles, the preacher uncles. You've got the educated uncles, and then you got drunk uncle who's going to just roll in there. The goal is to make you laugh. The goal is for you to smile. The goal is for you to enjoy yourself. But at the end of the day, I want you to come away feeling like you learned something, that you were educated. So it's not just a drinking show, even though there have been times where it's been heavy drinks been poured. I ain't gonna lie. There have been some times when I've gotten towards the end of a show and I've been like, man, I don't even know what I just said, because when it says in the words of the great Colonel Sanders, I am too drunk to taste this chicken. So that has happened on a few times, but that hopefully won't be this evening. So I wanted to put a ribbon and bow on something real quick, though. I want to put a ribbon and bow in a conversation that we had yesterday, and I felt bad for the young people who really were liking the whole alternate uniform kind of thing, and all the old folks who were shouting them down. And I'm old, man. Like I'm getting there, or I'm not old, but I'm 49. Like Uncle be 50 this year, so I'm getting there, and I understand what it's like. I remember what it's like to be young and having people like not listen to you and listen to your thoughts and your ideas and feel like they're going to shout you down and this and that. I just want to tell all the young people out there, keep hope alive. Like, if that's what you guys like and that's what you guys want, fight the good fight on it. Don't let all these old people shout you down and tell you to shut up and sit down, all that kind of stuff. Continue to do what you want to do. Now, I'm not saying it's going to change, but don't let anyone make you feel bad. Don't make anyone feel bad about wanting something different. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're dumb, for wanting chrome helmets, all the other kind of stuff. Like, the thing I think it's safe that we got to acknowledge is that, like, you guys are the young folks. Like, you guys are the future here. So, I know, like I said, old folks are always going to make you feel like you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I used the example when I was talking about my son and buying him sneakers last year when he first started playing AAU, and bought him some Kyries. And I was about to buy him some Kyries, and the guy was telling me, "Oh, this is hot, this is fire." And I looked at it, and it had pink in it. And I was like, "What the hell you got pink in this for?" No, this is. I'm like, guys, I'm looking for a guy shoe. It's like, no, this is what they wear. I'm like, what are you talking about? But in my old mind, back in the day, pink, that, I mean, you got beat up for that, and so I had to walk around the store asking people, like, hey, is this what the young people are wearing? They're like, oh yeah, that's really cool. So I understand I'm somewhat out of touch. A lot of older folks are out of touch. So I'm just telling you guys, no matter what, even if it doesn't change, don't let anyone make you feel bad about just wanting to do something or try something different. It's quite all right. I just want to put a ribbon and bow on that. I was going to talk about something. I'm going to skip it. I might save it for next week, but I'm just I'm just going to say it like this. The school district wants to start a puberty conversation with these young people. It might include my son, and so you had a chance to opt them in, and they showed the video of it, of what they'd be showing them. And I gotta tell you, as an old person, I was I was like, what in the blank are they about to show these fourth graders? They literally should. They have a video in there. I'm debating if I should show it just to prove the point of the portion of it where they start talking to the kids about like erections and they literally show like a someone's Johnson like going up and like this is an erection. I'm like, I'm not really quite sure I'm ready for all that. I might dive into that next week and talk about what the Leander ISD is or isn't doing. But for now though, I really want to get into a football conversation. And Rodolfo, I have not seen the new whip, so I'm not quite sure what that is. I'll be quite honest with you. You guys keep up with these guys' social media way more than I do, which is way more. I'm just not that interested in what these guys are doing. But what is it? Kel says fourth grade seems about right on where kids be. Well, okay, but look. Okay, now you're making me do it. All right, so because I hear what you're saying. Now I'll let me show you what they were wanting to show the kids, and you tell me. Hold on, let me see. You tell me if you think. First of all, let me get this off. All right, so they go. Hold on. I'm probably gonna get some copyright thing, right? So hold on. Let me. All right, fourth grade. Hold on.
Erect.
Hold on. Here you go. Hold on.
However, for sperm to be released from the body, the penis must become hard. Erect. An erection is a stiffening and enlarging of the penis that causes it to stand out in front of the body. Sometimes during puberty, boys may experience involuntary erections. They happen without warning and for no apparent reason. This is normal.
I mean, I guess, but I'm like, but he's 10. Can we hold off on this conversation? Like, what in the world is happening? I was really freaked out. Fourth grade. They wanted to show this to my kids in fourth freaking grade. And I was like, yo, dude, I feel like I'm just going if I got to have the conversation with my son, I'm going to have it with him. But I don't feel like I need the PE teacher sitting in the classroom showing that video talking about, so guys, you want to talk about erections today? Like, nah, I'm good on that one. I'm going to get that one off his chest. All right. So now that we got that off his chest, let me bring in my man, Tom G. Let me bring in my man, El Presidente. Let me bring in my crew. How are you guys doing? Sorry for that intro.
Mark, ain't no way in hell I'd let my kids be clip for that.
Yeah,
I can't believe Blake's mind when that video was playing. Blake's probably like cringing in the background.
Yeah, can you send me a copy of that video? I've got to show my friends. I cannot believe that they're doing that. I cannot.
In fourth, there was another one. Hold on.
Jesus.
I mean, that's a conversation for a family.
I gotta send it to my friends because we're all like, oh,
I'm
my
just
God.
like. So anyway, we're going to do this exercise. Don't worry, Blake. We're losing them and they're coming back in. It's all good. We're going to do this exercise where I thought we're going to have a cool quarterback conversation, quarterback debate where I've assigned a quarterback to each of the guys that I feel like overall have a good, they overall would be able to represent the guys in a conversation that we're going to have, because obviously spring football is right around the corner. We're talking about about 12 days away before this thing gets started. And we're going to have a conversation clearly about, Quinn, about Malik, about Arch, and the pecking order. What are you laughing about? What happened, Tom?
I read the comments when they're like, Eric wants a copy of the video and everything.
Now that was, I didn't know what to say to that one. I had to let that
No,
one go.
I just want to show my friends it's like, for me, it's just like we're always talking about school districts doing something. I'm like, if y'all think it's bad here, look what this school district's doing down there. I mean, school district topic is just always a volatile one because people don't want to stay in their lanes, do want to stay in their lanes, things like that. Or what they're trying to oppress on you, put on your, like I said, for me, it was, you think have it bad here in the Arlington Independent School District. There are other school districts that are doing things like that and putting their parents like Anwar, single dad in this position, like, okay, that's our conversation. That's our, it's just a weird thing for me to see.
Anwar, you gotta bring us back. You gotta bring us back, man.
I'm bringing us back.
Yeah.
So we all are assigned different quarterbacks. I am going to represent Quinn Ewers. El Presidente has Malik Murphy. Tom G has Arch. And the goal of tonight is for us to have a conversation where we can make the case for our guy in the specific pecking order. Now, to be clear, my case will be for Quinn Ewers to be the number one guy. I'm not making a case for him to be anything else like that. I'm not going to make a case for him to be the third string guy. We're not going to, fall off the turnip truck or anything crazy like that. But I think it gets real interesting when El Presidente and Tom G are able to make their cases, whether it's for, I think El Presidente can make a case for the starting quarterback position. Tom G may be able to make a case for that, but I think Tom G really becomes an interesting conversation when it's really about Arch as the number two guy. I think that's where it becomes really interesting. So I think each one will be able to kind of stand on the table for their guy and be able to explain why they feel like that person should be the number one guy. So I'm going to start with Quinn, okay? And I'm going to represent him, and we can do it however you want to, almost in, I won't say like an attorney-ish kind of way, but almost in a way that I'm going to outline for you why I think this is an open and shut case for Quinn Ewers being the number one guy and for us to shut the door or any other speculation throughout the offseason as relates to Malik Murphy at all. And shout out to Charles Wright. No one volunteered, unfortunately, to represent him. But we still got love for you, Charles. We still got love for you. Let me start with Quinn, because I feel like when we told the story of Quinn, I think we have to start from the beginning and be a little bit more objective than I feel like he's been getting or has received. Let us start with the two sprains to his clavicle that he had during that Alabama game, in which he was supposed to miss 4 to 6 weeks and ended up only missing 4, working his way to get back into that lineup. The earliest he could return was before that Oklahoma game, and then he was able to get back there for that. Now, what's interesting about it, and I still think it deserves credit when I start thinking about Quinn and being the number one guy, I start with that Alabama game. I start with being in that first quarter, 9 to 12 for 75 yards, and he would have been able to score. He had him in scoring position, but the injury happens. Hudson Cards ends up finishing off that whole thing. But you're able to see with a glimpse. That game, guys, gave everybody hope that the moment he comes back, Texas has a chance to take off. And when he does come back against Oklahoma, we're talking to 21 to 31, 284, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 182.2 passer rating. Ketch always wants to talk about passer ratings. So against OU, that's what occurred. Now, here's an interesting thing, and I know you can't say we can't have it both ways. He did come back, but he wasn't 100% during that time frame. He was back. What do we talk about, El President? The difference between hurt and injured? Like, there's a whole totally different thing. And so in that regard, he was able to play, but he wasn't at 100%. So he did flash. He looked fantastic, but things start to settle in. The weather starts getting a little bit colder. It's a little bit tougher, just a little bit tougher, on that. But when I start thinking about everything as relates to him, I could keep. If you want me to stop, I can. But I've got a little bit more as relates to him. I think Quinn gives Texas an opportunity to have that stability at the quarterback position that we haven't seen since Sam Ehlinger. And, I think we took it for granted, right? You take it for granted, like, oh, Sam should have done this. Sam should have done more. Sam should have done this. And then he's gone. And you're like, oh, shit, now we got Casey. You're like, oh, shit, now we got Hudson. Like, and now you get a chance to put this guy, I think, in year 2 of the system, being a little bit older. I think that absolutely helps him. When I look at his passer rating, and again, that's the thing that, Ketch likes to talk so much about, right? Max Duggan finished, his passer rating, I'll take it back. Quinn's passer rating was 132.56. So Max Duggan was at 159.24. He led the Big 12. Dylan Gabriel was at 154.39. The third guy, though, was Blake Shapen at 137. So Quinn wasn't that far away from at least being in the top 3 as far as the passer rating is concerned. Donovan Smith was at 133.94. So we're talking only 4 points as far as the passer rate is concerned. When I start thinking about guys, as we go into the season, Quinn Ewers probably enters in as your number 1 quarterback in the Big 12, potentially number 2, depending, but when you start thinking about his competition, you have Dylan Gabriel. So maybe there's OU fans that argue for him. After that, there's Jalen Daniels from Kansas, Will Howard from Kansas State, Blake Shapen. There's no one that you're going to stand on the table for and say to yourself, damn it, man, I'm expecting Will Howard to be better than Quinn. Like, no, if you tell me you've got Quinn in a game versus any of these other guys, I'll take my chances with Quinn just about every single day. And I start thinking too, like, the last thing I'll kind of wrap up on it. I've got a little bit more. I'm going to hold it just in case someone, I'm going to hold a couple of things for reserves. One of the last things I'll say on this is 2023 is probably Texas's best chance in the immediate future to win a conference title, right? Because I think this is once you go into the SEC 9-game schedule, we all know that's going to be a gauntlet. Like, that's just going to be tough. It's going to be hard. You got a guy who's coming back and has the opportunity to go up to the next level as opposed to a Malik Murphy. It's like, hell, if you think Quinn may have struggled, in his kind of first season as a starter, what the hell do you think Malik Murphy is going to do in his first season as a starter? Give me Quinn Ewers with A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Jatavian Sanders, the whole host of them, and I'll take my chances on him as QB1 and as a guy that if all goes well, he plays well, he balls out, and he's out the door in 2023. So there's my case for Quinn Ewers as QB1. El Presidente, what are you thinking?
We better be damn sure, because there's a good possibility we lose Murphy after the spring. So for me, I hope Sark is prepared to really embrace a true quarterback battle during spring ball. And what I mean is this: would Tom Armar, would we agree? When has the Texas quarterback room looked like this? How long has it been? I mean, I don't want to see. Yeah, I don't want to see a Cam Rising story with Murphy somewhere else. And Murphy is ripping it up, whether it's at San Jose State, UCLA, USC, because we all were so in on Ewers and his first year and his potential that, we didn't kick the rocks enough on Murphy, and now we turn around and look, and Murphy's gone. And that is my biggest concern, because since Murphy has been here, when he got here last January, he was coming off a dislocated ankle. So we really didn't get a full sample size of him during last spring. He went through summer workouts. He was getting better. And then, right around that fall camp, beginning of school, he had the scooter accident, and he was not able to really practice and play as much during the season, regulated down to a quarterback on the scouting position team. Heck, during the Alabama game, we were about to be at number 3 quarterback, and we were about to go to Tom G's favorite guy from Austin, Texas, Mr. Wright. We got to that type of thing. So for me, going into this spring, I would hope the quarterback whisperer, Shark, gives him every opportunity in the world to win that starting job, but not only win the starting job, to push Ewers to be better, to, hey, do your homework on the field, off the field, after practice, before practice, be that complete guy. Because we all know, and I think we'll agree with this, everybody on that team, you don't hear how they gravitate to Arch. You don't hear how they gravitate to Ewers, but you do hear they gravitate the teammates and his personality and his persona. They do gravitate to Murphy. So I would hate for us to not give him a full 100% chance running the ones, running the twos, and throw him in under the fire and see who does better. To me, competition makes the best world, and I honestly believe you have to give him a true, legit shot during spring to make sure if he does walk, you know what you're losing. And I don't want to see the next Cam Rising at another Major 5 program, and then we're all sitting back and we have quarterback struggles again.
So here's the thing. I will say this, that yes, there's always been this stuff about guys gravitating towards Malik, but I will say that Quinn, some of the things I've reported this offseason, that he has kind of stepped up in a leadership role. He's taken a lot more ownership of that. I think he's feeling a little bit more comfortable in his skin, comfortable as the leader and the quarterback. He's been a guy that's reached out to AD Mitchell and say, hey, let's go ahead and work out. He's organizing workouts. Like, he seems to be a guy that is serious, he's always been serious about football, but I think he understands the work that it takes to be successful on the college level. He's a guy that, he's a guy that was so good in high school that, he has to understand, like, oh, snap, now there's other things that I got to do to be successful on the college level. Part of the growth, part of the maturity, all that. And I think you're starting to see that in the off season. The guy, when you go to, I'm shaving the beard, I'm cutting the hair, that's a new look. That's a whole new me. I'm like, I am totally shifting my focus. You can look at it as something little and I'm like, oh, it's just it's not style. It is, I am being a new me. And sometimes when we do a new me, how we do as adults, we'll do stuff. We'll shave stuff off. We'll try get new clothes, all that kind of stuff. Here's the only thing, El Presidente. I don't know in today's era of the transfer portal how much you can keep guys from leaving. I don't know if you can. I get the ideal, right? The ideal, I think if Sark plays it right, he makes it seem like there is a true quarterback battle that's going on between the guys. And then he says, all the right things. And then he says, hey, we're going to go into the fall, blah, 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 blah. And then he'll determine someone from there, right? And I think that's an ideal thing, because then you want Malik around. You want a solid number 2 that's able to go if Quinn Ewers has to miss a couple of snaps, something to that effect. Like you want that. I just don't know, how much you can prevent guys from leaving nowadays. It's just
I would also add on more. We assume Malik is going to have all these suitors out there. At the college level, he is unproven and unknown. He's not going to transfer and step in as QB1 at any big Power 5 school. It's just not going to happen. And so, I'm not sure there is a, grass is greener on the other side opportunity for Malik at a place where, he feels that they compete for championships.
Yeah. So, but let me ask you this. El Presidente, is there a case to be made from your perspective for Malik as the number one guy at all?
If at the end of spring, they have both been given equal reps, which, and they both ran with the first team. And if they are even coming out of spring performance-wise, you've got to go. I mean, because those players will see it. You would think the coaches would see it. Do we have the right guy starting? That is my only take on that right there. Will be his performance during the spring. How does he handle that first scrimmage? How does he handle that second scrimmage? Will he be given an opportunity to run with the ones? And if he does he take the ones down and score at will? Does he take the twos down, go and score at will? Does he have firm knowledge of the playbook? All those other components that as a Division I quarterback that you have to have. If he is on par and on the same level at the end of spring as Ewers is, then you've got to really seriously ask that question: who is our one going into the spring, into the fall camp?
How comfortable do you feel? And Tom, I ask you this. Let me ask you this: how comfortable do you feel within, a short time period going from Hudson Card as the opening day starter to him getting benched at the Arkansas game and going with Casey Thompson, to then a quarterback battle or something, so and then, Hudson, now it's Hudson and Quinn, now Malik. Like, you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 different starters within, Sark's 3-year tenure. Like, how comfortable would you feel about moving to another potential quarterback?
Great question. And I don't think it's about the number of starters per se, as when Ewers came over here, Sark hitched his wagon hitched himself to the Ewers wagon. For him to live up to the mantra as the quarterback whisperer, he needs Ewers to be successful. If Ewers is out of this program due to a lack of development, that's just not reflect good at all. And, Eric,
Sark failed if that's the case. Sark failed to develop.
He failed. And that optic's not going to happen, right? So I think the only argument Eric has is, could Malik be QB2? And even then, I'm going to tell you why he will not be QB2.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I think the QB2 argument is a really good one. Here's the thing. When I think about Quinn, I'm not comfortable going through growing pains, with another one. It's almost kind of like when you're El Presidente. I'll give it to you. You'll love this one. It's kind of like when you've dated someone for a little bit, and then you guys are kind of going through your ups and downs, and you feel like, well, I'm going to throw that one away and start all over again. And you start back dating. You're like, golly, I sure had a good over there.
Maybe she's not so crazy.
Look at the look around first. So exactly. So that's kind of where you're like, you might in your head tell yourself the grass is green on the other side, or you could say, you know what? I put in the work here. I've invested in here. You know what? Let me see this one through. Because I'm not quite sure. You know, there's certain things I look at when we tell the Quinn story that I think has to be fair, right? And so when we look at some of the passes that were made and some of the deep throws that didn't occur, I think we got to be fair in it that says, you know, at some point, the play caller has to say, you know what, this ain't working. Let me do something else. This is not the time for me to tell this kid to throw 30 or 40 passes. Like, you know, if you keep telling your pitcher to throw the fastball and it's getting hit out the park, at some point you might want to tell the pitcher, you might want to call a curve, a slider, a breaking ball, or something, because the fastball over the middle keeps hitting out. You can't say, well, I just got to keep throwing fastballs to keep the batters honest. No, you don't necessarily have to do that, right? So I think some of it for Quinn, we got to say, like, it's like the boxer. You got to protect him from himself, right? I think we got to acknowledge the drop passes. You know, it's not to throw anyone under the bus, but you know, we can't have it both ways. We can't say, oh man, like look how he messed up, and then acknowledge, oh yeah, but look out in times where he got the ball to guys and they dropped them. You know, that's not just an Xavier Worthy thing where we're just going to bang on Xavier. Some of the guys that drop passes. You know, there's a reason why, and I know Brendan Marion left, and so on and so forth, but I can't sit here and say like everyone was hype on Brendan Marion and the job that he was doing. Like, I feel like the receivers kind of took a step backwards. And so you got to acknowledge that those receivers weren't catching the balls when they were there, or sometimes they weren't at the right spots. And so you got to bank on the new receivers coach being able to help those guys get better, you know, become better pass catchers, become better, you know, fundamentally. And I think you, like I said, when you have a prime opportunity to win the Big 12, give it a guy he was already started. But Texas has got 10 in-state games, only 2 true road games. Give me that guy and say, you know what, I'm going to give you a shot, as opposed to just throwing it away. That's for me is the Quinn argument. Brian has a super chat, so let's make sure I get him on real quick. Best things for fans is to keep all 3. So Sark sells, it could be any of you till late as possible. Is that moral? Is the game pass moral at this point? Do we eventually pay a reputation cost? Look, the game is the game. Coaches will tell you anything, Brian. And no one really starts thinking about moral or not moral or anything to that effect. They just fans just worry about results. At the end of the day, fans don't think about, you know, those little things like, oh, they got told such and such and this thing's happened. If Maalik Murphy, let's just use this as an example. If Maalik Murphy got upset after spring and left, and Quinn Ewers balls out, and Arch Manning is ready to take over, no one's going to say, man, that was kind of messed up how they kind of told Malik that he had a shot to play. All people are going to think about is Quinn balled out. Good luck. You know, that's it. Like, no one's going to think about anything past that. So I hear what the question, but the whole it's recruiting. They tell every single kid they got a shot to play as a freshman. And we know they ain't got a shot to play as a freshman. You know, you can't, you're 6'1", 145 pounds. You're not playing as a freshman, but they told you that. You know, you got to gain some weight. So I wouldn't worry about that thing. It's about just finding the best guys. So I think I'm cool with Quinn as QB1. I don't think El Presidente has a huge objection. And I don't think, Tom G, you would be willing to throw your name in the hat, or your guy Arch. So let's advance it forward a little bit to where I think it gets fun. QB2. Because I'm curious. This to me is important. It's more as Quinn. Let's put Quinn to the side. We all kind of agree on Quinn. And I did take the easy way out by doing Quinn. But what about QB2 because listen, we saw Hudson Card when when Hudson Card has had to come in, as QB2 last year. We said to ourselves, okay, like you had to look for the bright spots. You had to look for the bright moments to kind of convince yourself like, oh, this worked out well. Maalik Murphy is in year 2. Arch is also in year 2, but how do you manage the whole Arch conversation? Like, is he going to just be going red shirt? Like, there's no way Arch here. Let's say it like this, Tom G. There's no way Arch is on campus in January because he thinks he's going to be QB3. If Arch felt like he was going to be QB3, he'd be playing on his high school basketball team right now, getting ready for prom, like all these other kind of fun little things. He would be back in New Orleans. No way he's here. So he's here because he thinks he's going to be QB2. Maalik Murphy is here because he believes he's going to be QB2. He could have transferred, but he believes he's QB2. El Presidente, I'll allow you to start it off because I know Tom G is going to have fastballs, curveballs, sliders, knuckleballs, everything. Give me the case of Maalik Murphy as QB2.
QB2, been in the system for a year, knows the terminology, finally gets to be able to show what he can do during a full spring training. And that, for me, be sitting in that quarterback room, seeing what he's needed to develop for the past year, I think that will lead him to being quarterback number 2. Now, with regards to Mr. Manning, before Tom G gets started, there is a big jump from, would we agree that Louisiana private school would be the equivalent to what in Texas? 2A competition? 3A, maybe? I just feel like there is, I get the last name, I get the family lineage, I get all that. But before we move him to QB2, and before we do what Texas does and rush quarterbacks in, a la Chris Sims, when we had an established guy here doing well, let's give him a year to get broken in, to get his feet wet, to get bigger, to get stronger. And let's see, what we have with Malik before we cut Malik loose. Because he can still play 4 games and you can redshirt him. Because hopefully this season, this 12-0 season that I've predicted, there are going to be some blowouts in there where both quarterbacks are going to get some time. So I guess, again, let's see what Malik can do before you send him away.
Tom. I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting all day for this. And I know you come prepared. What do you got?
So while we're talking about Archibald Charles Manning, the grandson of Archie, the son of Cooper, and the nephews of Peyton and Eli. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a family that has a work ethic unlike no other. Preach. We're talking about the most cerebral quarterback in this class. He just needs reps in the game to slow down for him. And once he does, look out. I mean, he's got Heisman written all over him. He is a Manning, which means he will be mature beyond his years. So it's not about starting as a freshman. I mean, we're talking about Archibald Charles Manning, the consensus #1 player in the country. He was unanimous across all of the top recruiting rankings, whether it was Rivals, 247, On3, ESPN, you name it. And let's look at, you were talking about physicality and physical. We're talking about Archibald Charles Manning.
Third time you're going to say that guy's full name. Third time you're going to say that man's Christian name. What is going on?
6'4", 215 pounds, and even has the growth potential to add another 10 to 15 pounds. He has great pocket awareness. And he's got the ability and the athleticism to extend plays with his feet. I bet he runs circles around Mr. Malik Murphy just in a race. Look at his arm talent. I mean, he's got fantastic mechanics. He's learned from the best. He's got a quick release, and he can make every throw in the pocket, on the field within the pocket. And last year, what was the problem? It was about the deep ball. We're talking about a man who is an exceptional deep ball thrower. He's flashed touch and placement. We're talking about a kid who was a day one starter as a freshman on the junior varsity team of his high school. Not even his nephew, Peyton and Eli, had that accomplishment.
Cousin.
And more than all of that, we're talking about being prepared for the SEC in 2024. There is no way in hell that Arch is going in without getting any meaningful playing time this year to be the starter as QB1 in 2024.
Okay.
And you can take that to the bank.
Okay. All right. What was his name again, Tom? Because I just want to make sure you said you kept going to this man's Christian full name. It damn near read his social security number. I wasn't quite sure what that was. All right. Let me ask you, Tom, though. Okay. As related to Archibald. Your thoughts on him being QB2. So Quinn gets, helmet comes off or whatever, finger hurts, he needs to go to the locker room, comes back out, 10 minutes later, all is good. He plays. Your thoughts, though, on someone who's young, who's a freshman, being thrown into the fire right away? Like, your thoughts on a guy that, is not that far removed from being in high school. Is that a riskier proposition over a guy who has been on campus for, a little bit of a longer period of time?
Not at all.
Okay, explain why. Explain why.
Sark has to have a depth chart. And it's going to call out who QB2 is. And unless he does this bullshit, Arch or, Malik, which I don't think he'll get away with that. I think whoever he names QB2, and I'd be willing to bet money it's Arch, is going to be that person, whether it's one snap or whether it's filling in for the next 3 games. And I have no doubt that if any freshman can be prepared for the situation, it's a Manning.
Okay. Do me a favor, Blake. I'll put a poll that's out there because I'm very curious. If you could put a poll in the chat, who should be QB2, Arch Manning or Malik Murphy? Let's go ahead. I want you guys who are listening, I want you guys to be active. I want you guys to kind of give your thoughts and your process on that. And not only do I want you to vote, I also would love for you guys, because I'm listening, the thing about this show is like I want to hear from the people. So I want to make sure, I want to read what you guys are saying, because I go on shows all the time. I go on radio shows, TV shows, and they'll always ask me what Texas fans are thinking or saying. I want to be able to say this is what's saying. So put this in your thoughts in the chat so I know exactly what you guys are saying or thinking, so it helps me to kind of get an overall view. El Presidente, for you, this is Malik's, second year here. He's been second year on campus, second year in the system. If we're going to be 100% fair in the conversation, and you're the Malik representative, Arch has been in the quote unquote system for about a month and change. You know, Malik has been in the system for a year and change at this moment. For you, if Quinn has to miss any time for whether it's, let's say it's a quarter, okay? Like, again, we're not going to say anything bad. We're going to knock on wood and not wish anything bad on him. You feel more comfortable? Do you feel more comfortable Malik going in for, a 2 drives, 3 drives than you would Arch? And if you do, can you explain why?
When Texas is beating Rice 50-0 at half, the third quarter Ewers comes in, 1 series. You're going to give Murphy the rest of the third quarter, and you're going to give Archibald a little time with Wright in the fourth quarter. You're going to let them have a series each. But you want that guy to know that he's still involved in this program, that, hey, you've spent a year in this program. We believe in you. You are going to be our number 2. Because I think, hey, guys, getting off that bus, let me ask you both this. Who's the best looking athlete of those 3?
I don't know. I mean, Arch is pretty damn 6'4", 215. He ain't looking bad coming off that bus.
Tell me the best looking one coming off that damn bus.
Okay, yeah. If we're talking about the all beach team, then yes, it's Maalik Murphy. If you're talking about the all beach team,
yeah, guys, for me, it's I until we get a sample size of Malik, I think he could have left as soon as we got Ewers in the transfer portal. He could have said, you know what, I'm not coming. I'm out. And then we land the next number 1 quarterback, Archibald. And guess what? He could have said, I'm out. And he didn't. And that's what that is why I am so intrigued to watch him this spring. And I know it's going to suck because we're only going to get tidbits and we're going to hear y'all's reporting and things like that. Just like, during bowl practice, we got to hear the tidbits that he was really coming along. He was getting a grasp of the offense, and that his teammates really, really like him. I get it. It's not against air. I get it. He's not playing 11 on 11. I get it. He's not at one of these camps. But before we crown Arch number 2, let's see what number 6 can do, because we know he has a cannon arm. Just like Ewers does, just like Arch does. We know that, he is a tough hombre too. He could have left. He could have been like one of these quarterbacks that we see all through the country. You know what? I came. I was promised a bag of rocks. I didn't get it. I'm leaving. And we all know how that quarterback shuffle game is in college football right now. But he said, you know what? I'm going to stay here and compete. And I admire that about him, staying, competing, and saying, you know what, I'm an athlete too, and you're going to have to fight me. You two both are going to have to fight me because I want that job. I admire that. And in a world where everything and all these kids want things handed to them, I like the underdog that is saying, I'm willing to fight for anything until that coach tells me I'm not the starter. I love that about him.
Tom, is that enough for you, or that's not enough?
That ain't shit. No, that ain't enough for me. I mean, to me, let's get real. What is 23 about? 23 is about getting prepared for 24 and competing in the SEC. There's no way that Arch isn't the starter in 2024. Therefore, Arch will get more reps during 23 to ensure he is most prepared to be that starter in 24.
So you hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. What if I outline for you? What if I said Quinn is the starter in 2023, which we all know is going to happen. Yeah. What if I say Malik is phenomenal in 2024 and he's out and he gets drafted and then Arch takes over in 2025?
Arch will transfer.
You think
his family isn't going to let him sit at the bench for 2 years in college before he gets his first sniff at
you don't think the Manning family is ready, is okay with letting something cook?
Not that long. I mean, we're talking about, if you look at their nephews, they both started as sophomores. That would be, and granted, it wasn't redshirt sophomore, it was sophomore, which means that second year. So I think they've got Arch on the same type of trajectory. It's that by that second year, he's starting.
What happens if Ewers come back?
That creates a very interesting situation at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, if Quinn is back, then there's the potential that something went wrong in 2020.
Something went terribly wrong if Quinn's back.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't think any of us are thinking about Quinn in 2024. I think most of us are expecting him to take that jump. It was interesting when PFF had that story last week where it was, if any college football athlete was available, every college football athlete was available in 2023, that they would have Quinn as a first-round pick by the New Orleans Saints at pick number 30. Yeah. So, I think all of us expect Quinn to be gone. So it would be,
if he's not, he's transferring because he ain't starting in 24.
I mean, he can technically start, but there could be other factors, but it would probably throw off like the best laid plans.
Yeah.
For sure. So let me ask you this: for each of you guys, when we start talking about what 2023 is about, El Presidente, what's for you 2023 about for Maalik Murphy?
Establishing yourself as the number 2.
Okay.
To be able to ready to compete in the spring of 2024. Is that correct? Yes. Going into our SEC year with Arch Manning, because we are all assuming that Ewers will be gone. To me, that's what this, I think, Amar, you're saying this is what the domino behind closed doors would potentially be, correct?
Yes.
So I totally agree with that plan, that quarterback battle will come all the way down to the opening fall of the SEC, and Sark names a starter. I truly believe in your vision of what you're talking about. Ewers will be gone. These guys are going to duke it out the following spring, going into the summer, and the year that we play Michigan at Michigan, who is that quarterback going to be?
Tom G, for you, what's 2023 about for Arch?
For me, for Arch, like I said, he is a cerebral quarterback. It's just about learning the playbook, watching the game, see it slow down so he can process the game, and getting enough reps to show why he will be the starter in 24.
Okay.
So, because for both of them, for both Arch and both Malik, their goal, in my opinion, who is going to be running out of the tunnel August 31st, 2024 as the starting quarterback versus Colorado State when Colorado State comes in to DKR. That has to be the goal here for those two.
And that will be Archibald Charles Manning.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Back to the Christian name. Back to the Christian name.
Here we go.
My goodness. If we know Tom G finds Arch's student ID somewhere on campus, he's going to keep that thing and frame it.
Yeah, I mean, damn, Tommy can't even hold on to his dadgum ID, and you want him to start?
Wait. We were asked to passionately defend our guy, and that's what I'm doing.
Yes. I think for me, guys, though, like as we kind of start to wrap it up, for me, this is a lot, and we kind of alluded to this earlier. This is a lot about Sark. This is a lot about Sark's ability to develop these quarterbacks. And again, I say this, it is not to be disparaging on Sark or anything like that, but you guys are longtime followers of the program. I've been here since, Charlie's first year. I've heard a lot about guys and what they were able to do before they got to Texas that it necessarily didn't translate when they got here. I heard all about Charlie Strong's defenses and how he was a defensive mind at the University of Florida and helped them win a national championship and like how good he was from a defensive standpoint. And then he got here at the University of Texas and those defenses weren't good. They just weren't. I heard all about Tom Herman and how much of an offensive genius he was. And we used the word Mensa so loosely as far as how smart he was. And they talked about all the quarterbacks that he had at Ohio State. And you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's an offensive guru. Like he'll be the guy that goes against Lincoln Riley. And it was just like, he had like one win, at the end of the day. And so we've heard so much about Sark and his ability to develop quarterbacks and all the long history that dates back like years and years ago when we're talking about like the USC days and stuff. And now here we are. And I'm like, I'm waiting for that thing that, that coach that comes in that lives up to their reputation of this is my area of expertise. Like this is what I do. And this is what I'm known for. And I'm going to do it here at the University of Texas. That's what I'm waiting for Sark. I'm waiting for him to groom Quinn Ewers into being that person that we, Catch gives us all these stats on 5 stars and all that kind of stuff. I'm waiting to see that thing click. I'm waiting to see 2024 who he's going to have, like, and all the guys that he's developing behind the scenes. Like, that's for me what I need to see for Steve Sarkeesian, because we know these guys have talent. Like, you're not going to get more talented than Quinn Ewers. Yep. You're not going to find that many more guys more talented than Malik Murphy. You're not going to find that many more guys who are talented than Archibald, Reginald, Manning. You went through this whole damn name and stuff like that. I just went Reginald just for the shits and giggles of it. But I'm waiting for that. And that's what I want to see. I think that's what Texas fans want to see as well. We've got the rep, but that's what you did before. What are you doing now? What are you doing while you're here? Right? And if you can do it while he's here, great. That's what you're hired to do. I'm waiting to see that happen. Hopefully the light bulb clicks. All right, so last thing. Now that was all said and done, El Presidente, Tom G, you don't have to defend anybody right now. You're free to say what you want to say. Right now, as we sit here on, February the 22nd, give me quarterback 1, quarterback 2, quarterback 3 on your book, okay?
Quarterback 1 is Ewers, quarterback 2 is Malik, and quarterback 3, Charles Wright, and that other guy, Manning. They'll be half and half.
Oh. Now you're just being an ass. Now you're just being an ass for no.
Hey man, don't take back from Charles Wright. He's a good scout team guy. He's a good team guy. You gotta have someone like that on your roster. Those are the Rudies.
Tom, before I mute this guy, give me 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I do think Quinn is number 1. I think he's an easy number 1. I personally believe that Malik will be named number 2. And then Arch number 3. But with that said, I think that you will see Sark as evenly as possible try to split the 2 and 3 reps during the season when they get up big and stuff like that. Instead of putting Malik in for an extended period of time, I think you'll see them both get a common set of snaps. So they have them both, semi-prepared for what they've got to face in 24.
All right, let me do Brian's super chat. We'll do some parting shots. We'll get out of here. Brian says, love the show, Onward. Great job on the co-host. Did you just let them on this year after 100 cents? Lucked out and got gold, or these guys prior? We ever going to take over a bar in Alston for the Uncle pre/post games? Okay. Yes, lucked out 100%. I, in one of my drunk unk moments, started saying, like, listen, man, if you throw $100 in a super chat, I'll let you come on the show. And these guys took me up on it, and they have been absolutely great. They have been absolutely fantastic. Blake would attest to that. There's some things we've been talking behind the scenes, some things in the works that I think will be pretty awesome for the two of them that are going to be going forward. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about them. So I struck gold with both of them. I got a chance to sit down with Tom G, in San Antonio, and kind of talk to him about my vision and hope for the future. El Presidente is amazing. So these guys are great. These are, the thing is, I'd like, I have my expertise, quote unquote, right? And I have my opinion. But the thing that I felt like was lacking from our channel and from a lot of channels is a fan perspective. I don't know, sometimes people tell me, like, oh, no, I want to hear what you have to say. And, like, that's cool. Like, I give you what I have to say on Mondays, on Tuesdays, on Fridays. Like, I give you all what I have to say. I write it all the time. But what we don't get enough of is fans. Like, your fan perspective is different than the quote unquote like analyst perspective. So I like to hear what they have to say. Like, I feel like they give a good balance. I feel like they're absolutely awesome. And as far as taking over a bar in Austin, my goal that I'm currently working on is trying to do for the spring game, a Friday night, either Friday happy hour or Friday night takeover of some sorts. I'm working that out. Had someone tell me they had, I'll be honest, I had someone tell me they had a Lavaca connect. I'm starting to connect with the people at Lavaca through this third party. But if that doesn't work, then I'm just going to figure it out. But yes, we will. My goal is before the spring game for us to have some sort of get together with El Presidente, with Tom G, with your man. Like, I will definitely be doing this, definitely hosting this.
April 14th.
You said what?
April 14th is the
April 14th. A bar that's going to play Longhorn music and Texas fight and all that stuff. Like, we're going to do it all. So that's definitely the goal. I'm working towards it. And at some point, I've just got to really kick ass on it and make it happen. So someone told me they had a hookup with Lavaca. I'm waiting for them. I'll have to bang that out pretty soon. If not, I guarantee you there's a bar out there that would love to host 100 to 150 Longhorn fans and make a whole lot of money that night. Yep. I'll just put that out there. All right. El Presidente, give me a parting shot, a parting thought, anything that's kind of on your mind as we kind of wrap this whole thing up.
Spring ball starts with here 2 weeks. We're getting close, aren't we?
The 6th is when we get this whole thing started.
So, hey, it's a big time. It's a big development time. I know the guys are in the weight room, getting bigger, getting stronger. You kind of see their videos. You kind of, hear things behind closed doors of who's doing what. Guys, a particularly interested battle that I'm really dying to see. I know Tom G's already busted my balls on it, but I am definitely interested in seeing the offensive line makeup during the spring ball. I know we have a starter that's going to be out during spring ball. We're talking about Campbell, and he might not be there for spring ball a little bit of the time. So, guys, for us to go 12-0 next year, SEC Mike has said it. Hey, it's big boy football, and you have to get your big boys ready. And this spring is such a crucial time for those red-shirted freshmen that sat last year of this coveted offensive line class to be able and be ready to play. Because there's going to be some time, there's going to be some position switches, because we've got to get the best 5 out there. I know of a lot of the starters are intact and they're coming back, but Kyle Flood has some looming issues there at that right guard spot. And hey, center is still not buckled down, and you got Jones coming back, you got Cam Williams coming on, and then you know what? On the defensive side, Bo Davis, I am on your ass right now. I need you to find us some players, and I need you to develop some players, because all the Tom Herman's guys are about to be gone. So it's time for you to start developing your players that you've recruited, that you have brought in to be the next guys, because those guys are ultimately going to be the dominoes that go into the SEC. So for me, the offensive line, the defensive line starting March 6th, those are, as of any team goes, you win with big boy football. And that's what I'm looking forward to here in the next couple of weeks.
All right, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think Eric's had enough for all 3 of us.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
So, I know we had a great conversation today about the quarterbacks, and so only I would leave us with is, look, whether it's Ewers, whether it's Malik or Arch, I mean, this quarterback room has never been stacked like this in the last, 20 years. It's been a long time since we had this level of talent stacked on the quarterback room. And one of them is going to go boom. I have no doubt about it. And so I'm feeling really good about the future of the position. And it is the most important spot on the entire field and on the entire team. And the fact that we've got that secured, we should be excited about what we've got going.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say this in closing, in the conversation of Quinn, kind of where we started, and I'll wrap it up. Sometimes young quarterbacks are just that, young quarterbacks. And sometimes we place high expectations on them. And sometimes when they don't meet it, it's like this weird thing in our society where we build people up to tear them down. And just because he didn't meet every single expectation doesn't mean he can't meet that in the future. Like Quinn Ewers has an NFL potential, NFL future ahead of him. I think Texas fans have to say to themselves, okay, last year happened, learning, growing, developing. He's going back. He's cooking. He's going to get more developed, and you guys will be in a happy state. This is a year where, look, if you're saying to yourself, 10 wins is the floor, El Presidente is saying 12 wins is his norm. Like that's what he's saying, what he believes. If we're at the 10-win floor to a ceiling of more than that, that means Quinn Ewers is having one hell of a year. That means he's having a breakout year. That means he's living up to all your expectations. So be patient, let him grow, let him develop, understand that mistakes happen. Last year happened. We can't ignore it, but we also can't ignore that he could get better, that he could be a better quarterback than he was last season. You can't tell me on one hand that 5-star rankings mean something and then ignore that when it talks about the growth and development. Like 5-star means 5-star, which means there's usually about a 50% chance of this person going to the NFL. It's pretty damn good. Yeah. So I will die on that hill as relates to Quinn Ewers. think this is going to be a good season for Texas. I think there's a lot of reasons for optimisms. And look, at the end of the day, if we're doing a show here in January or this time next year, and we're talking about how things, didn't happen, there'll be a bigger conversation. But I don't think we're going to have that conversation. I think overall it's going to be really positive. I think overall we got a lot of positive things to look forward to. So from a main man, Blake, who's been doing the producing behind the scenes, who was absolutely mortified,
yelling at us.
We should be showing the puberty videos that my fourth grader potentially could have endured. El Presidente, Tom G, and of course everyone from the Orange Bud staff. You guys have a fantastic evening. Hope you like the show. I forgot to ask, but hit like, subscribe if you haven't to. This is the kind of good content and kind of fun conversations that you're always going to have here. Until next week, you guys take care. Good night.